Fortunate thou art, mortal soul, to have stumbled upon this vision. Yet tarry not with idle wonder, for it is no mere happenstance, but the subtle artifice of fate, and the inexorable pull of my dominion that hath drawn thine eyes hence. None find themselves at the gates of such reflection by mere wanderlust. Nay, hidden in the shadowed corridors of thy being, thou wert summoned, as all souls are summoned, when the hour is near, and the days do wane like the last light before the ending dusk. Dost thou reckon thyself the chosen one? Cast off such vain conceit. Thou art neither marked by fortune's singular favor, nor cloaked in destiny's lonely shroud. Yea, thou wert forged in strife, emerging a victor from the countless multitudes that sought the spark of existence, a triumph woven from the chaos of yearning souls writhing in the womb's dark cathedral. But consider, that primal race, that first and fiery struggle, gifted thee the breath of life, a prize wrenched from oblivion itself. Wouldst thou thus scorn so precious a beginning by sinking into the mire of complacency and defeat? Upon the union of mother and father, 'tis not merely flesh entwined, but a sacred rite wherein the seed and the vessel become one, and from their communion, hope and strife burst forth. Remember thee, the contest was grim and fierce, with myriad kindred aspiring to the light, and thou alone didst cross that fateful finish. Thou alone heardst the silent benediction of birth. Wilt thou then repay such victory with the languor of resignation? Art thou content to languish in failure, frightened by thine own shadow, lulled into slumber by the sweet lies of idle years? Hasten thou, for the sands slip ever quickly through the glass of time. Each day falleth like the withered leaf, each breath a fleeting treasure, measured and counted in the secret ledger of mind-keeping. Squander not the moments. I, Death, the imperator of darkness and the curator of eternity, do see thee, do watch thee whilst thou tarriest and delayest, languishing in self-pity, shackled to regret's heavy chains, refusing to grasp the bright torment of living. Art thou so willing to surrender thyself to my embrace, never having dared to live as victoriously as thou wert born? Hear this. The world marks thee not as chosen, nor as forgotten. These are man's illusions, easy cloaks to wear when the gale blows cold. But I, that see the weaving of every fate, remind thee, each heartbeat is a miracle borrowed from oblivion. Every hour not seized with trembling hands is a gift returned to the void, where naught remains but shadow and silence. Wilt thou cast away thy birthright? Allow the fire of thy soul to gutter and choke? Think thee upon the cradle of thy coming, the womb, watery grave of lost brethren, sanctum of dreams denied. Millions strove, none prevailed but thee, and now, daily, thou suppliest excuses, pouring libations to self-doubt, bowing before the altar of fear. What folly! 'Tis not fate that holdeth thee in thrall, but thy own trembling will, as fragile as dusk's mist. Wouldst thou be as those countless vanquished souls, never to taste sun or sorrow, or wilt thou rise, assert thine ancient claim upon the world? Hasten, I say. The tapers of thy years burn ever lower. I mark their sputtering, a mingled pride and dread coiled in thy breast. Each plan delayed, each joy denied, each word unspoken tilts thee closer to my arms, inevitable and cold, where all ambitions cease. Art thou content to meet me thus, draped in the tatters of forgotten dreams? Or wilt thou rage against the dying of day, forging meaning from the marrow of thine existence, till I, Death, must pry that purpose from thy clinging fingers? Hearken to me, O trembling shade, thou canst not delay thine end. I come for thee as I come for all, with footfalls silent and hands cold as eternity. Yet ere I wrap thee in endless slumber, Thou art granted this brief, searing chance. Do not squander it. The specter of defeat is but a pale phantom beside my truer face. I am patient, O soul, and I brook no defiance. Each moment thou cowerest, each dream thou lettest rot. I draw imperceptibly closer, my shadow lengthening across thy path, my breath chilling the air of thy hopes. I have watched thee cling to mediocrity, whispering false consolations. I am not destined for greatness. I am plain and unremarkable. Yet the oft-spoken lie feareth only the blaze of honest reckoning. Thou wert first among all who struggled in that primordial night. Wilt thou now descend to the last, content to pass from memory, thy legacy no more than a sigh in the tempest of years? Lo, the powers of heaven and the furies of hell turn not in pity or disdain. They simply watch, silent and indifferent as stars. But I, death, bear witness without judgment, merely marvel at the waste, the lives unclaimed, the loves unspoken, the victories unwon. Dost thou not tremble to think thyself so near to the abyss, whilst yet pretending there's a time aplenty to amend thy ways? Heed my counsel, caught betwixt hope and ruin. Rise up, make noble thy brief sojourn beneath the sun. The world is not waiting, nor are the seconds endless. Grasp hold of thy fate whilst breath and blood remain, for I shall not tarry when the hour draws nigh, and thy trembling soul must answer for its idleness. The clock strikes ever forward. I, death, do not slow for thy convenience nor thy fear. I care not for titles, gold, or glory, nor for the dust of kings. All souls come to me in the end, the grand and the humble, the saint and the sinner, the conqueror and the coward. But I favor not those who come unto me shriveled by regret. Let thy coming be bold, thy final act defiant against the dying of the light. Wilt thou persist in sloth, cowering as the shadows lengthen, or shalt thou seize thy birthright afresh and stride forth into terror and triumph? Know this, the race was hard won, thy victory at the gates of being hard fought. To squander such a prize is mockery of the very defiance that begat thee. Mark my words, O flickering spark amidst the uttermost dark. Thou art not here by chance, nor by luck, nor by curiosity. I have fetched thee with unseen hands, guiding thee hither for reckoning with thy truths. Reflect deeply, for every hesitation is a summons, every wasted hour another thread cut from thy tapestry. My nearer presence is the cold promise that time's river runs swift, and few are those who master its current before the falls. Let not comfort lull thee into stillness, nor fear trick thee into silence. Let action become thy prayer, and striving thy hope. The world cares little for thy moans. The cosmos records not thy apologies, but only what thou hast done. Wilt thou finish thy journey crawling, whispering of dreams once vivid, now faded to sighs? Or wilt thou roar until thy voice is but an echo in eternity, so that even I, death, must pause to marvel at thy refusal? The line is drawn, the shadows advance, my hand outstretched to claim what must be mine. But until that hour, thou art sovereign of a fleeting kingdom. Rise, reign, and let the world remember that thou wert twice born, once by strife and once by will. Delay no further, for my patience is unending, but thy time is not. Like a phantom at the edge of vision, I draw ever nearer. Do not greet me with the shame of a life misspent. Haste thee onward, O child of struggle. I am death eternal, keeper of every secret, collector of all souls. In the end, I shall embrace thee, but ere that final darkness falls, live with fury and with flame, lest all thy victories be but ashes in my hands, and thy memory but a whisper snuffed out by the endless night.